Before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed. Drop a like if you can handle the truth, and leave a comment if you think you already know where this is going, because this story doesn't end where you think it does. Red and blue lights cut through the falling snow like blades. A woman lay motionless in the road, her winter jacket torn, a sled overturned a few feet away. Police radios crackled with urgency as officers rushed to secure the scene. This wasn't a quiet suburban street anymore. It was a crime scene. Just minutes earlier, laughter had echoed down this same hill, the kind of reckless winter joy that feels harmless. Cars idling, friends cheering, a sled tied to a rope dragged down an icy stretch of pavement. The woman at the center of it all was a young mother. Neighbors would later say she was the type who made holidays feel warmer, who never missed a school pickup, who believed fun should always include everyone. Then something went wrong. The rope snapped. In the darkness, the sled skidded and spun, scraping against frozen asphalt before stopping dead in the middle of the road. Seconds passed, maybe longer, and then headlights appeared. Too fast, too close. The impact was catastrophic. By the time the vehicle screeched to a halt, it was already too late. Officers arrived to what looked at first glance like a tragic accident, winter fun gone horribly wrong. But as they started asking questions, the story fractured. 2 vehicles had been involved, 2 drivers. Both claimed it was an accident. Both insisted no one meant for this to happen. But seasoned investigators know that the truth rarely presents itself so neatly. Detective Mark Reyes stood near the sled, staring at the broken rope lying in the snow like a severed lifeline. He had worked fatal crashes before, but something here felt off. This wasn't just about bad weather or bad luck. This was about choices. The first driver, the one towing the sled, said he lost control, said the rope snapping was no one's fault. The second driver, the one who struck the woman, claimed he never saw her until it was too late. Dark road, poor visibility, an unavoidable tragedy. But then came the first red flag. Both drivers showed signs of impairment. Field notes would later describe slurred speech, delayed reactions, the faint but unmistakable smell of alcohol cutting through the cold air. Blood tests were ordered. Patrol cars quietly shifted from traffic control to containment. As word spread, neighbors gathered behind police tape, whispering theories that grew darker by the minute. Why was sledding happening on a public road? Why were cars involved at all? And why, some wondered, did it feel like everyone was trying just a little too hard to call this an accident? At the hospital, doctors pronounced the mother dead. Across town, her family was being notified, their lives permanently divided into before and after. And inside the police department, a decision was forming, one that would shock the community and dominate headlines, because this wasn't going to be charged as an accident. Hours later, detectives uncovered a detail that changed everything, a piece of evidence so damning it reframed the entire night. And once they saw it, there was no turning back. By sunrise, the street had been cleared, but the weight of what happened refused to lift. Detectives moved fast, knowing that in cases like this, time was the enemy. Memories fade, stories shift, and guilt, when left unchecked, has a way of rearranging itself into something almost believable. Inside the evidence room, the broken sled rope sat sealed in plastic. At first glance, it looked like a simple snap, frayed fibers, ice damage, wear and tear. But when forensic techs examined it under magnification, they noticed something strange. The fibers weren't just torn. Parts of the rope had been weakened long before that night. It wasn't an accident. It was negligence, maybe worse. Detective Reyes ordered phone records pulled from both drivers. The first driver, the one towing the sled, had been texting minutes before the rope snapped. Not emergency texts, jokes, laughing emojis, videos sent back and forth. The second driver's phone told a darker story, a short call placed seconds after the impact, not to 911, but to a friend. What do I do? I think I messed up. That call never made it into his initial statement. As investigators dug deeper, Toxicology results came back. Alcohol was present in both drivers' systems, enough to impair judgment, enough to turn recklessness into criminal behavior. Prosecutors were notified, and suddenly the language around the case changed. This wasn't about an unfortunate winter activity. This was about two men making dangerous decisions on a public road and a woman paying the ultimate price. But the most unsettling discovery came from a witness no one expected. A teenage neighbor came forward late that afternoon, shaking, nervous, clearly afraid of what might happen next. He said he saw the group earlier that night, saw them arguing. The mother didn't want a sled behind the car. She wanted to stop. She said it wasn't safe. According to him, someone laughed. Someone said, "It'll be fine." Investigators replayed that sentence over and over. It wasn't just a dismissal, it was a warning ignored. As the case unfolded, pressure mounted. Media vans lined the street. Headlines began asking the question no one wanted to answer. How does a sledding accident turn into a murder charge? The answer lay in intent. Not the intent to kill, but the intent to disregard human life. Then things took an unexpected turn. When detectives attempted to re-interview the second driver, they found his apartment empty. His phone was off, his car gone. No note, no explanation, just silence. An arrest warrant was issued within hours. Police now faced a chilling possibility: a suspect on the run, evidence already compromised, and the community demanding justice. Meanwhile, the first driver lawyered up, refusing further questioning. His once cooperative demeanor vanished overnight. And buried in the growing mountain of evidence was one final detail, something so troubling it reframed the entire case. Security footage from a nearby home showed the moments before the rope snapped. What it revealed made investigators stop the video in disbelief, because it didn't look like an accident at all. The security footage was grainy, partially obscured by falling snow, but it was clear enough to change everything. Detectives watched in silence as the video rolled. The sled bounced behind the car, sparks occasionally flashing as plastic scraped asphalt. Then, just seconds before the rope snapped, the brake lights flared. Not a gradual slowdown, a hard, deliberate brake. Frame by frame, technicians replayed the moment. The sudden stop put enormous strain on the already weakened rope. It snapped instantly. The sled spun out, exactly where the second car would come barreling through moments later. This wasn't reckless fun spiraling out of control. It was something far darker. Police tracked the second driver to a motel 2 counties away. He was arrested without incident, sitting alone in a dark room, staring at the wall like someone who already knew the ending. During interrogation, his story finally cracked. He admitted he'd been drinking, admitted he'd been angry, and then came the confession no one expected. He said the first driver told him to stay close, told him to keep pressure on her. According to him, the night had turned tense long before the sled hit the road. The mother wanted to go home. She threatened to call someone for a ride. She didn't trust them anymore. Investigators exchanged looks as the truth emerged piece by piece. The sudden braking wasn't panic, it was punishment. Prosecutors now had a theory that chilled even veteran detectives. The woman was being intimidated, controlled through fear and recklessness. Not meant to die, but treated as expendable. Under the law, that was enough. Both men were charged with second-degree murder. In court, the defense argued it was all circumstantial, that no one planned a death, that alcohol, snow, and stupidity were the real culprits. But the jury saw the footage, heard the call made after the impact, listened to the witness who remembered her saying, "This isn't safe." They returned their verdict without hesitation: guilty. Outside the courthouse, her family stood in silence. Justice, yes, but no relief. No verdict could undo what happened on that dark, frozen road. Her children would grow up with questions that had no answers. Holidays would never sound the same. The community tried to move on. The street was repaved. The hill looked ordinary again.
But some neighbors swear that every winter, when snow begins to fall, cars slow down there just a little more than they need to, because they remember. They remember how quickly laughter turned into sirens, how an accident became a murder, and how two men learned too late that intent isn't always about what you mean to do, but what you're willing to risk. The case officially closed 6 months later. But here's the part no one talks about. During sentencing, a final toxicology report was quietly entered into record, one that hadn't been available during trial. It showed something unexpected, something that suggested the first driver may have been far more impaired than anyone realized. By then, it didn't change the outcome, but it left one haunting question behind. Was this truly recklessness shared by two men, or was one of them hiding the real truth beneath the snow? If this story shook you, you're not ready for what's coming next. Subscribe, because the next case is even darker.